Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Chapel, and today's theme is Zealous in Friendship. Our theme for the year is being zealous, that is, being excited, working hard, striving towards a goal. And I think something we can all work on is how to be a better friend, how to be not an okay friend or even a good friend, but a really, really, really firm, fast friend. What does the Bible have to say about that? First, let's look at Proverbs 18:24. It says, "A man that hath friends must show himself friendly." And the Proverbs are often very general and they say things that are rather obvious, but they're things that we need to be reminded of. This proverb says, if you want to have friends, you have to be a friend. Now, you can never change someone else's heart and you can never change someone else's actions. And when we focus on fixing a friendship by making the other person act better, that just does not work. If you want to improve any relationship you have, work on yourself first. Uh, Problems with another person may need to be addressed, but remember, we cannot make decisions for them. We can only make decisions for myself. To build a friendship, I have to be a friend. I can change my own heart and my own actions. Uh, my actions will have a big impact on the people around me. No man is an island. Every good thing that you do helps your team, you might say your friends, your coworkers, your family, your classmates. Every bad thing that you do hurts everyone around you. Am I working hard to improve my team? Am I working hard to improve the people around me, to improve their lives? And am I doing that by working on myself and making myself a better person? So, in the next few minutes, I'm going to be looking at some ideas from the Bible, how to fix friendships and how to build strong relationships. And let's focus on fixing my own heart and working on my own heart and not focus on anyone else. Remember that song, Standing in the Need of Prayer? It's not the preacher, it's not the teacher, but it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. It's not my brother, it's not my sister, it's me, O Lord. I need to change. I'm sure you're familiar with the concept of sowing and reaping. Be not deceived, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. You will be planting seeds in your life and you will reap the rewards of that. All your actions have consequences. And sometimes those are really good actions that have really good consequences. Sometimes they're bad actions that have negative consequences. It says don't fool yourself in thinking that I can be a bad friend and yet have everyone around me be a good friend to me. That's not how it works. Also, don't fool yourself into thinking that if I try being loving to everyone else, they're going to respond negatively. No, God is not mocked. God has put this law, this natural law in place that whatever we sow, we're going to reap that. And again, this is a general statement. Are there ever any times when someone's really nice and someone else is mean to them? Sure, there is. I mean, Jesus was perfect and people were cruel to him. But as a general statement, the more kind you are, the more kind people will be to you. First idea here is you reap what you sow. You plant tomato seeds, you get tomatoes. You plant cucumber seeds, you get cucumbers. In chapel today, I planted some donut seeds. I found some in my Cheerios box. I planted them in a planter, and we found that there was a donut growing in that planter. So that's always fun. But you reap what you sow. So what are you planting in the garden of your heart? What are you planting, good or bad? Are you sowing kindness or cruelty, patience or snappiness, forgiveness or grudges? Guys, if you are impatient with someone and you snap at them, that's going to make them upset and they're going to be impatient back and snap at you back. And then you get upset and you escalate it and then they get upset and then they escalate it. And fights might start small, but they never end small or they rarely end small. Things grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Uh, so be careful. Whatever you reap, that's what you're going to sow. If you are sowing kindness to everyone around you consistently, that will affect them. They will appreciate that and they will be kind back to you. Second principle, you always reap more than you sow, or else what's the point of sowing? What level of effort are you putting into your friendship? Are you being lazy? Are you just taking your friends for granted? And, well, they're in my class, so they have to be my friends. No, they don't. Are you zealous? Are you working hard? Are you looking for ways to improve your friendship? Are you looking for ways to make your friend's day? Are you looking out for them? Are you actively helping your friends, or are you just sitting back and relaxing and doing nothing? That's not great. Again, with escalation, if you sow unkindness, it will escalate, get to much, much more unkindness. So, ever been a time when you meant to be maybe a little bit rude and someone got super offended at that? Um, that's just the law of sowing and reaping. On the other hand, I can tell you from experience, sometimes when people put just a very small effort into being kind, that can make someone stay. I mean, there's been times when I've had graduates or other students just send me a card that had just a few sentences written in it, and it really made my day, made me smile. There's been times when in the hallway someone says, "Good morning, Mr. Gurr, how are you doing today?" with a smile, and it takes just a tiny little effort to really set the tone of the day and make someone that much happier. Some of the best gifts I've ever gotten from students have been handmade cards with drawings on them from little kids. I love it. You know, you don't have to do a lot to affect someone's heart a lot. You can sow a little bit of kindness and create a very big response from that. So, what are we sowing? How much are we sowing? Then, lastly, you reap after you sow. Farming takes a long time. Relationships take a long time. Sorry, this is in the background. It says, good things take time. You know, are you giving it enough time? You can't expect to do one kind thing for someone once and then have a perfect relationship ever since then. No, it takes a long time. You can't expect to give a girl flowers on the first date and then propose to her on the second date. No, it's got to take time. Sure, that was very kind of you, but how much are you sowing and for how long? You might not see the growth that's happening in your relationship because it grows so slowly. But hopefully you can look back over months and years and say, yeah, I'm a better friend than I have been before. Maybe you're at the beginning of a relationship and you're frustrated that these friendships are not developing as fast as I want them to. Guys, it takes time. Be patient. The more good things you are sowing to the people around you, the more good you will see in return. All good things take time. And for our last point here, we're going to look through 1 Corinthians 13. This is a passage that we all need to meditate on. This is something that we ought to memorize and we ought to just be thinking about constantly and applying it to our lives. In the King James, it uses the word charity, and that is translating the Greek word agape, and that is the kind of selfless love. It's not romantic love, although you ought to have agape love towards your significant other. Uh, Sometimes guys, especially in our culture, don't feel comfortable sharing emotions. That's not great. But this is not primarily an emotion. Agape is working hard for your benefit, working hard on our relationship. So charity or love suffers long, and that means is patient. It has a lot of endurance, suffers long. When someone is unkind to me, how long am I going to endure that? Or am I going to break that friendship at the very first sign of trouble? True love takes a lot of punishment and still loves. There's this old saying, don't sweat the petty stuff and don't pet the sweaty stuff. You know, when someone does something small against you, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Don't get overly dramatic. Recognize that this was a small issue and let's keep it small. You don't have to escalate the problem. You could choose to break that spiral and keep small issues small. Real love is not fragile. Real love does not get its feelings hurt very quickly. Do you get your feelings hurt very, very quickly? That's something we need to work on. We need to toughen up our hearts so that, no, sorry, so that we can take a lot of punishment and still love. True love responds to unkindness with kindness. I should probably take that. So sorry about that. Where were we? True love. How are we sowing love for our friends? So we are uh, not impatient. We are enduring. We are kind. Charity does not envy. When we love someone, we will never be jealous of them. Uh, True love is not upset when something good happens to someone else. We are glad that one of our friends has something good happening to them. What are you upset about when someone else has something good happen to them? If someone else gets a better grade than you, that does not affect your grade. They're not hurting you. You should be happy that they got a good grade, even if you didn't. In sports, I think this is the silliest thing ever. Are you jealous if someone on your team makes a basket or makes a goal or whatever? Are you upset that they're getting the attention that they're doing a good job? Or are you happy that someone on my team is getting my team points? What, would you rather that good athlete was on the other team fighting against you? No, they're on your team fighting for you. And true friendships are like we're fighting side by side on the same team. So I should be glad when someone I care about has something good happen to them. If someone gets a toy, a new Xbox, a new game, I don't know, a car, a motorcycle, am I happy for them or am I just upset that I don't have that thing? Someone gets to go off to Disney World while I'm stuck in Quarantineville. Uh, are we upset that we didn't get that vacation, or are we happy that they had a fun time? I've had friends who have traveled a lot more than I have. I wish I could travel the world, especially Europe, and maybe I will one day. I'm saving up my pennies. I have 3 pennies. No, I would love to be able to travel maybe when I'm a little bit older and the kids' college is paid for. But I've had friends go to London and bring me back souvenirs. I have some teddy bears. Well, I used to have them in here. I think I brought them home. But a friend of mine went to London and got me 2 teddy bears. One with the London police uniform with the fun hat, and another one with the Beefeaters uniform. Really cute. I had another friend who went to Paris and brought me back a little Eiffel Tower. That's really fun. I should be glad that they got to do something cool and not upset that I did not. Yeah, don't be mad when your brother gets an ice cream and you don't. All right, next, charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. You know how onomatopoeias are words that sound like what they're describing, like buzz is how bees buzzes. This is kind of like that. A puffed up person, I'm so amazing, I'm so great, everyone look at me, I'm better than you. It's arrogant and boastful. And love is not like that. Love never puts itself at the center stage. Love never thinks too highly of itself. And I'm not saying go around going, oh, woe is me, I'm the worst. That's not good either. But we should not be arrogant and puffed up. We should not think we're the king of the world because we really aren't. You're not the king of the world. You're not the king at home, and you're not the king of the classroom. I've seen relationships between parents and kids where the kids kind of bully the parents and the parents let the kids do whatever they want. And that is not a healthy relationship. Uh, if kids are taught at home that they're the boss and they get to do whatever they want and no one can tell them what to do, what happens when they reach society and their boss asks them to do something, they go, no, and throw a temper tantrum, they're going to get fired. If the government asks them to do something, they say no and throw a temper tantrum, they're going to jail. Okay, you need to be taught as you're still in the home that you have authority and the world does not revolve around you. There's this fun saying in French that Brittany says every once in a while. I can't say it in French, but it says, "You are not the world's belly button." And it means kind of like the world does not revolve around you. You're not the world's belly button. Uh, you know, put other people first. You are not the king. Do you have to be the center of attention all the time? That's a very proud attitude, and that is the opposite of love. If you care about other people, you will make them the center of attention. It's not always going to be about me and what I want and what I think. A great conversation starter is asking someone about themselves. So, what did you do last night? What are your plans for the weekend? What do you like to do for fun? What do you think about this? Ask an adult about their kids, and they'll have plenty to say, and that will start a pleasant conversation. Ask a grandparent about their grandkids, and they'll show you a million pictures. Make them the center of conversation. Make them feel welcome and included, not just me. Do not think too highly of yourself. Love doth not behave itself unseemly. This means being rude or inappropriate or gross. There are just these social rules that we have to follow, and it's really gross if you don't follow them, or inappropriate. It makes people uncomfortable. For instance, when you're eating at the table, there are certain rules for how to eat politely. And different societies have different rules. In some places, like the Far East and China, you're expected to burp as loud as you can, and that lets everyone know how delicious the food is. In America, when we eat pasta, we're not supposed to slurp. In Japan, when you eat their soba noodles, you're supposed to slurp it all up, and that's just how they do it. They consider that polite, but we don't. There are some topics of conversation that we don't talk about in public. We don't have potty talk in public. That's rude. We don't have to talk about medical issues in public. Talk about that with your doctor, not with your classmates. Be appropriate. What is this person doing wrong? She is ignoring the person next to him. She is doing her own thing instead of talking to the people around her. That's not cool. Put the phone away. Talk to your friends. And I know you talk to your friends on your phone. That's good too. But don't ignore the people who are right in front of you. That's rude. Don't make faces at people. That is rude. That is not kind. That's not loving. Don't make other people uncomfortable with your actions or your speech. I had an acquaintance once in college, and we went out to a Wendy's, I think it was, late at night. It's like probably 11:30 or midnight. And there were 4 or 5 of us from the college, and there were some other college age kids who came into the Wendy's, and this guy started talking about farm life, and he started getting into some pretty disgusting things that you do on a farm. And that's not an appropriate topic for a dinner conversation. Yeah, just keep things appropriate, kids. What does mature mean? It really means acting like an adult. So every once in a while, we have to ask Molly, especially, or Clara, do you see mommy and daddy throwing broccoli across the room? No. So why do you think it's okay to throw broccoli across the room? "Oh, okay." Uh, Act like a grown up. I know you're not grown ups yet, but act mature and only do and say things that are appropriate. There are certain places where we don't joke. Don't make jokes at a funeral. Don't run up and down the aisles at church. Don't yell and scream in class. Do that at the sports game. Do that in gym, not, in English class. Be appropriate. In the library, there are certain times where we are quiet. There are other times that we are loud, and it is rude to disobey those rules. Love seeketh not her own, again, does not insist on her own way, is not controlling of her friends. You cannot make your friends do what you want. You can suggest something, but if you are just known for being a person who says, do it my way, do this, I want to do this, so everyone has to do it with me, you're not going to have a lot of friends. Don't try to control the people around you. Ask what they want to do. Seek their way, not your way. You ask, what do you think about this? Where do you want to eat for dinner? Now, of course, this can be overdone. Two people walk up to a door after you, no, after you, no, after you, no, after you. Someone has to make a decision, so someone has to get their own way. But are you getting your own way all the time? Are you upset when you don't get your way all the time? That's not great. Look out for other people. Real love doesn't have all the answers, meaning knows that other people have different opinions than me, and that my way is not the only way of doing things. Knows that if other people want to do something else, that's okay with them. Well, I know that volleyball is way better than basketball. Of course, I know that. But if other people want to play basketball, that's okay. If they think basketball is better, that's okay. They don't have to agree with me. And love does not care only about my own well-being, cares about other people's well-being as well. Right, love is not easily provoked. That is, love has a long fuse. Love is not angered very quickly. It takes a lot to hurt a loving person. Because remember, love is enduring. When there's hurts, Love keeps on trying to do what's right. It does not blow up very quickly. What does it take to make you angry? Can a look make you really upset? I hope not. I hope that we can endure a glare or a tongue stuck out. Will a single rude remark ruin your day? Or are you going to take that rude remark and move on with your life? Do you have a very long fuse or a very short fuse? Somewhere in the middle. We can all stand to have more patience. And when someone else is provoking me, when someone else is picking a fight, I'm not going to use that bait. I'm not going to make a fight just because you want to fight with me. This means that love is very slow to be angry and going along with that, very quick to forgive. Guys, if it takes you 5 seconds to get mad, does it take you 5 seconds to forgive too? Uh, Usually people are very quick to be angry and very slow to forgive, and we need to fix that. We need to work on that. When someone hurts me, I need to forgive them as quickly as possible. And when someone hurts me, I need to work on not reacting out of anger for as long as possible. Classic in the car. My brother touched me. Should we be throwing a temper tantrum because someone poked you? No. Kid has a short fuse. Do you take offense at small things? That shows a lot of pride. How dare you treat me like that? Don't you know who I am? How dare you, nobody, treat me that way because I'm important and I deserve to be treated importantly with respect. Be humble. Be humble enough to accept hurts without blowing up. you know, Sometimes love forgives before the other person is ready to ask for forgiveness. Uh, that makes the process a whole lot smoother. When you determine in your heart, I will forgive this person, then when they come to you asking for your forgiveness, it can be true forgiveness. And you can say, yes, yes, I already have. I forgive you. Have you ever heard, sometimes teachers or parents make kids say sorry and they're like, sorry. And you're like, that's not a real apology. And they're like, sometimes make the other kid say, I forgive you. And they're like, I forgive you. You're like, that's not real forgiveness. You can't force someone else to say sorry when they do wrong, but you can say sorry when you're wrong. I should say, I can say sorry when I'm wrong. And I can't force anyone else to forgive when I hurt them, but I can forgive when someone hurts me. I can't control other people. I can control myself. Next, love does not rejoice in iniquity, but love rejoices in the truth. That means, are you excited, happy, or amused when you see wrongdoing? When you see someone acting out, does that strike you as funny? Sometimes little kids, when they act out, they really are quite entertaining. I'm talking more like in your entertainment. What entertains you? Is it when there's sin going on? And there could be lots of different sins. There's some popular entertainment that's filled with all sorts of different garbage. Maybe it's the sexuality, maybe it's dirty jokes. Uh, you can't find a comedian on Netflix that isn't rated R or worse. That amuses a lot of people. All these dirty jokes. Hopefully, it is not a source of amusement for you. It could be, a lot of these reality shows are nothing but 45 minutes full of gossip. Is that something that amuses you and entertains you? I hope not. That's not great. Sometimes there's just tons of violence and pain, and that's not great. I hope that's not amusing you. What do you talk about? Do you talk about when people are doing wrong? Or are you focusing on goodness and truth and justice, the American way of life? Are you talking about good things or wicked things? It could also go along with this idea. When your enemy gets caught doing wrong and they get punished, are you happy about that? Or does that upset you? Yes, bad people deserve to be punished for their badness, but that's not a pleasant thing. If a kid is rude, Maybe a kid is rude to you and gets a demerit. You'd be like, yes, they got a demerit. They're in trouble. Yay! That's mean. You should say, well, yeah, they deserved it, absolutely. But your heart should be one of, I hope that person learns their lesson and can be nicer next time. Not, yeah, I gotta get you. I guarantee you the teachers giving out demerits are not going, yeah, I nailed that kid. I got him real good this time. I gave him 5 demerits. Yeah, woohoo. No, it is sad to have to punish a kid, a student, because we care about you. We don't want to punish you. We are not happy when you do wrong, not necessarily just because you hurt us, but because we want you to be living a good life and having a good time here at Wisconsin. Love bears all things. That means it holds on all things. It carries all things. That goes along with the endurance. This is a donkey or a mule is not strong enough to bear the load. Every relationship will have strains and will have burdens, will have tense situations and tough times. Is your love strong enough to carry that burden? Here's someone carrying a heavy burden, and it's difficult, and it's heavy, and it's probably hurting his back, but he's still making his way up the steps. If that was really rock, that would be squishing him right now. That would be like 5 tons. I don't know. When hard times come in a friendship, as they always do in a marriage, they always do in a dating relationship, in a sibling relationship, there will be hard times, there will be hurts. Do you give up easily, or is your love strong enough to endure the hard times? Believes all things. That means it assumes the best, not the worst. When you jump to conclusions, are you jumping to good conclusions or bad conclusions? Proverbs 25:8 says something like this, is the paraphrase. Don't jump to conclusions. There may be a perfectly good explanation for what you saw. There may be a perfectly good explanation. I believe the proverb says something like, uh, don't be too quick to drag someone before the judge, or else they're going to explain why they did what they did, and everyone will laugh at you. That's the idea that, you saw something, you get super, super mad, then it turns out there was a perfectly good explanation for why they did what they did. Don't jump to bad conclusions. Don't assume someone did something to hurt you. Assume that, I don't know, maybe they're just having a hard day, a hard time. If they're a little short with you, if they didn't smile when they see you, maybe it has nothing to do with you at all. Maybe their puppy just died. I don't know. But assume the best of people, even when they hurt you, especially when they hurt you. Love hopes all things. That is, it wishes for a better future. It hopes that we can fix this relationship whenever something happens, and go forward and move on. Do you have hope for the future? Strong love does. And love, once again, endures all things. Hang in there. Things might be hard now, but true love will continue to endure no matter what. True love is not easily turned away to hate. So our three main idea is, number one, if you want to have a friend, be a friend. Work on yourself. You can't fix the other person. You can work on yourself and make yourself a better friend. Number two, if you want to reap friendship, sow friendship. Number three, what does that look like? Looks like 1 Corinthians 13, love. Practice love today. Meditate on these verses. Memorize these verses. And every time that we're having a difficult time in a friendship, go back to 1 Corinthians 13 and practice love to one another. All right. See you later. Bye.